Confirmation, it's Wednesday. Jacob is here. Talking about something new that we know about, but not a lot of people do.
Yeah, something that is particularly useful for ranchers and producers out there that is produced by the National Weather Service. It's at weather.gov/BIS for Bismarck /CANL for cold advisory for newborn livestock. This product is kind of like a one-stop shop. It shows the risk of cold exposure for newborn livestock related to wind chill temperature, precipitation, and humidity ranging from none to extreme. So it's kind of this index that puts all these variables together, and John Paul Martin at the Weather Service will kind of explain what goes into making this product.
What really the candle does is it takes all these different elements, individual elements, and molds them, combines them into one and a graphic that you can look at. A lot of things go into that. For example, air temperature, the ambient air temperature, the wind speed, humidity. Is it sunny or cloudy? Things that affect the drying process. How quickly will calves dry off or not dry off? It was developed, hard to believe, but it was developed about 2008 by professors at the University of Delaware and also the University, get this, University of Miami in Florida. Hard to believe, but they had a connection with the National Weather Service, some folks in Glasgow, Montana. They had a personal relationship. So from the college side, they were thinking to develop something like this. From the Weather Service side, folks in Glasgow, Montana were thinking, hey, this would be very beneficial to our customers, right, to our ranchers. And so that's how it developed. About 2008, the first experiment started 2009. And our friends at the National Weather Service in Glasgow, knowing we have a lot of cattle ranchers in North Dakota, said, hey, JP, would Bismarck like to get in on this? And sure enough, we said, absolutely. We think that would be a benefit to our ranchers as well. So we started about 2010 or so as part of the experiment.
So this is what that product looked like over the weekend with our dangerous wind chills. It was in the extreme category for much of the region because of those frigid temperatures being hazardous for calving. And that's the scale, going from none to extreme, going from green to red here, with this being for each of the categories. You get into that slight category when wind chill is less than 41 degrees for 2 or more hours, mild when wind chill is less than 32 for 2 or more hours, moderate, you can add some precipitation in there. That, of course, increases this severity. When there's precipitation falling and the wind chill is below 0, you're into the severe category, and extreme when wind chill is 18 below or colder and you have a good amount of precipitation falling as well. So there's one variable that is really important that goes into all of this that JP will talk about.
The humidity, right? The higher the humidity, the longer it's going to take a calf to dry off. And that's what we're told by our friends in the industry, in the cattle industry. It's we've got to get those calves dried off in that first 24, 48 hours, because if they're wet, they're going to get sick and possibly they'll die. So we've got to get them, and we don't necessarily have, barns large enough to put hundreds of cattle in, right? If the wind is blowing, right, and the temperature is below freezing, well, that's adding a chill factor. If it's precipitating, now that's a critical one, because it'll actually take you down a category or two, worse, if precipitation is falling. Blizzard conditions where you have precipitation, snow falling, where you have a wind over 25 miles an hour, where you have humidity near saturation, near 100%, all of those types of things.
So the target for this product is livestock that are less than 24 hours old, because they're the animals that are least able to regulate their body temperature and therefore the most susceptible to the cold. Also, after several hours, the producers may have had a chance to get the animal dried off and provide shelter as needed. So it's really critical for being aware and being aware of what the weather conditions are going to be when you're into that calving season. So getting feedback from ranchers in developing this product was really critical.
It's interesting because I have some ranchers who tell me what a great product it is. They use it a lot. Others who say, well, it's a good product, but, I'm aware it's my livelihood, right? It's my business. My day-to-day life depends on my calves surviving. And so they said, we're already in tune with the weather, but it just helps solidify what we think is happening over the next few days. One way it's evolved is, it used to go out about 48 hours, about 2 days. Now we're pushing it out about 3 days. Why? because ranchers have said, well, that's great, 2 days, but if you could push it out one more day, it helps us in the planning. And so now we're told, well, pretty much year round, there might be some type of calving going on, some livestock, right, being born. And so run it all year round. We'll use it when we need to use it, when we want to use it. Now, of course, in the summer months, not much. It's usually in the none category, so to speak, most of those times. But it's that fall right through the winter and the spring.
Like JP mentioned, it's not just in the springtime for calving. It can almost happen year-round. And the reason I'm bringing this up now is because I was able to talk to a producer rancher in Nelson County, North Dakota, Michigan specifically. Carissa just did calving this past weekend. And the reason why she does it so early is because she wants to avoid the muddy season later into the spring, as well as getting into the fields, because they also farm up there in Nelson County. So she talks about what her experience was like calving in those extremely cold temperatures this past weekend, and they even had some blizzard conditions in eastern North Dakota in Nelson County while they were calving.
We know calving in January, we're going to have cold temperatures. This long stretch of below zero temperatures plus the high winds is what really made it bad. We have a fully insulated barn that we do put heaters in to warm up if we need to, and extra cattle in. Then when it's this cold and they've got to be in the barn for extended periods of time, we put them in individual pens with their babies so they can bond with their babies, and the calf babies aren't getting stepped on by other cows. Just more intense management, making sure the heater's on and saving calves' ears and making sure they're warm and dried off as quick as possible is kind of how we handle the cold. We have to bundle ourselves up. We've got to take care of our livestock, but we also have to take care of ourselves and make sure that we're also bundled up and staying warm. And when we're out in the extreme cold, and we keep track of our livestock.
So the cold is tough on humans, very tough on cattle, newborn livestock as well. So this product from the National Weather Service that you can find on their website, pretty interesting, that combines all of these different variables into one kind of graphical format that you can see, say, hey, this is going to be extreme conditions. I need to take precautions or prepare if I'm going to be calving in the next couple of days.
And that product's been around for a while. It's a one-stop shop.
Right.
It's a great place to go and check out those resources.
The thing about calving, you can never win.
Right.
There's always
It's
going to
never
be some
perfect,
kind of
right?
weather that gets in the way. That's a cool tool. Thank you.
Starting now, ramping up next few months. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Jacob.
Jacob.
You're welcome.